Hey guys, this is Magic here, and random stat unrelated to anything at all. Just feel like just blurting this out for no reason. Magic never had 20 million customers or active players. They had 20 million people who were aware of Magic and knew how to play it. Active players is closer to 12. There's a difference. That means that there's 8 million people who aren't currently actively playing Magic, but know how to. Or even at a bare minimum, they know what the game is. So people spreading misinformation and talking out their ass for views, can you not? That said, let's get into some unstable spoilers because it's getting even crazier. I'm sure crazy is a trigger word for the Snowflake Bot 9000. There goes my ads again. Almost every box opening of Iconic Masters and most of these revealing videos have been marked as demonetized. Thanks, YouTube. Keep showing inappropriate adult content to kids on your kids app. You know, to just focus on my channel, though. That's way more important. So first up, we've got Beast in Show. Of course, it's a play on words with, haha, Best in Show. Get it? That's, okay, seriously, that's a rare miss in this set. It's a 6/4 trample, just straight up. That's it. It's just good. See, as funny as these cards are and stuff, you still have to win the game at some point, and that's why they just, like, threw in something like this. But also, it's a beast. I'm sure there's something that interacts with that. But either way, it's a 6/4 trampler for 6. It's not that bad. I mean, it kind of should cost 5, but still, it's pretty good. Next up, Entirely Normal Armchair. I do not buy that. I'm going to say it's a mimic, or honestly, kind of looks like a bear trap. During your turn... Wait a minute. Where the heck is the mana cost? Okay, I guess we're going to have to read it. During your turn, if Entirely Normal Armchair is in your hand, you may hide it on the battlefield. Yes, it's Cheaty Face, everybody. 0, return Entirely Normal Armchair to its owner's hand. Only an opponent may activate this ability, and only if he or she sees Entirely Normal Armchair. Yes. It's like a better defined Cheaty Face, which Cheaty Face is the best card ever. Now that definitely demonetized it. You pay 2, sacrifice Entirely Normal Armchair, destroy target attacking creature. Ooh, so if this is on the battlefield, anytime, well, you can put it on the battlefield only during your turn, from your hand, and then on their turn during their attack phase, you can destroy target attacking creature, but you're gonna have to sacrifice the chair. So hard to pull off, but I mean, my sleight of hand, and even just without purposeful distractions, I'm scared of what people are going to think when they find out how good of a card magician I am. I don't know if you guys caught this or not. I used to actually be a magician's assistant for 2 shows, so go me, for a magician that had a show in Vegas. So add that one to the resume. But yeah, I know up close magic. Trust me, I had to learn it. I know what's up with it, and I'm very good at it. So this is gonna be fun. Next up, Garbage Elemental. Okay, play the clip.
We're the ones who are throwing garbage in the street!
For real though, The Burbs was the greatest Tom Hanks movie ever made. So anyway, what happens when you throw garbage in the streets in a quiet suburb with crazy neighbors? You get Garbage Elemental. Also, you might need some magic. Anyway, this is interesting. Frenzy 2. When this creature attacks and isn't blocked, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. I could have sworn that's already a mechanic, but anyway. Garbage Elemental can't be blocked by wordy creatures. A creature is wordy if it has 4 or more lines of rules text. Now, implied or directly stated, reminder text, does that count? Who knows? A lot of these are pretty vague. Still, a maybe 4/4 for 5, this just isn't a good creature. I mean, 4 damage may be unblockable and you can remove all the stuff that blocks it. Like, okay, but it's just not that reliable. Next up, Gift Horse. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. I have no idea what that saying means, and neither does anybody else from what I've heard of the history of it. It's an artifact contraption, so contraption deck, sweet. Whenever you crank Gift Horse, roll 2 6-sided dice and create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to the difference between those results. Ooh, perpetual token generation, very nice. So I guess this is a Trojan horse, which is hilarious. And yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't think I've seen a contraption I don't like. So it's like, if I was going to build a contraption deck, I'd probably just put 1 of each. Why not? I mean, maybe take out weaker ones and only put in more powerful ones, but it is singleton and you got to get to 15, so whatever. Next up, we've got another augment. This one is half squirrel, half hyphen. He's got a nut in his mouth. That's awesome. I love the beautiful background there. Nice landscaping. And it's -1 attack And then -0, that's actually a joke in itself because there is no -0, despite what some other countries seem to say. I'm not getting into it. Whenever a non-creature token enters the battlefield, then do that. So pretty good recurring trigger, and it only costs 1. So I mean, if you just wanted to trigger something over and over and over, like the card draw one from what was that, Merman or whatever, this would be how to do it. I mean, it kind of ruins the creature. It basically turns it into, like, 1, a really big target, and then 2, it's basically like an artifact or enchantment. I mean, you could still block with it, you could still attack with it, but probably not, very well. So Universal Creature ETB, that's good. I mean, that is a very good recurring trigger. Next up, I have no idea why this is so small, but it's Hammer Jammer. Hopefully I'm going to be able to read this. I honestly don't know where this is from. I would suspect it's like, oh, here's my preview card that Wizards gave me. Whoops, I encoded it wrong. I don't know who, but I'm going to blame them, whoever they are. Oh god, what does this say for real? Well, it's a Goblin Warrior. It's a 0/0. That's interesting, and it costs 4. As Hammer Jammer enters the battlefield, roll a 6-sided die. Hammer Jammer enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the result. Okay, so with no manipulation, 3.5 would be the anticipated amount, so 3 or 4. So like a 4/4 for 4. I mean, that's not bad in red. And then it says, whenever you roll a die, remove all 1/1 counters from Hammer Jammer, then put a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the result. Well, I mean, you can't roll a 0, but re-randomizing it every time you have to roll a die, which could be not really by your own choosing, I guess, or just like a side effect of something entering the battlefield. So, I mean, this is interesting. I guess, I mean, you could say, oh, well, it might land on 6, and then it could be game-winning, but anything unreliable that you can't count on is unreliable, and you can't count on it. I don't know of any other way to phrase it. It's not a great card. I mean, it is unpredictable, chaotic, and fun, though, so if you're going for that and you like a little bit of luck, then hey, nothing wrong with that. And, I mean, I've been known to build decks like that. Next up, it's not Mindslaver, it's Kindslaver. This is interesting, especially since, I mean, that is something Tolarian would wear, isn't it? I feel like he dresses down for his videos, and that's what he wears on a daily basis. I love you, Brian. Still think you look like William Penn, but I love you. So it's 5-cost legendary artifact. Thank God you can't have 2 of these out. That wouldn't even work. You pay 5, tap it, sacrifice Kindslaver, and a person outside the game controls target player during the player's next turn. So either your turn, which would be kind of pointless, or your opponent's turn. So that's interesting. Neither player may advise that person until the end of that turn. Oh my God. But, I guess on the stack in response to you casting this before it starts resolving, you could advise them. So, I mean, you can't like remind them of rules or tell them anything or inform them of anything you forgot, but you could like ahead of time tell them that. So that's interesting. If you got a friend and they're not playing a game and they're on your side, well, you better really hope so. Boy, let them take over your opponent's turn and just sacrifice everything at will if that's possible. I mean, you'd be surprised how easy it is, but sometimes how impossible it is to sabotage the person's turn. I mean, oh, let's not swing, or let's swing with something that could be easily blocked and destroyed. Something like that. But other than that, I mean, unless you have like a sacrifice creature : and then you could just boom, 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 boom. There's not that much you can do. I mean, you can't arbitrarily throw stuff in the graveyard. Like, you still have to play by the rules of the game. And I have said this in the past, gotta correct myself, you cannot actually take the person's car keys and during their turn, since you control their turn, you basically are them, take their car to McDonald's. I mean, they dropped the criminal charges, but I gotta say, you can't do that. Next up, Krark's Other Thumb. I'm not gonna get way into it, but look up the card Krark's Thumb. It is an actual card. Like a standard, well, not standard legal, good lord. It's a formerly legal card. It's a playable card. So this is Krark's Other Thumb, so he's running out. It's a legendary artifact, cost 2. If you would roll a die, instead roll 2 of these dice and ignore one of the results. I think something like that is what Krark's Thumb does. Either that or it lets you re-roll it, or I don't remember. It's something about dice, whatever. So yeah, that'll actually be pretty nice. Next up, Modular Monstrosity. Love this. I mean, just the artwork on here is just outrageous. It's a 7 cost, so it's a little bit rough, but at least it's colorless. It is a rare, too, but it starts as a 3/3 here. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you have 5 seconds to choose a keyword you haven't chosen for a card named Modular Monstrosity today that's been printed on a creature card What? Okay, so if you do, Modular Monstrosity gains that ability. Otherwise, Modular Monstrosity loses all keyword abilities. All right. So I guess let's see, it's a keyword. So, boy, evergreen or non-evergreen, because everybody's going to think evergreen, but there's some weird stuff out there. Like, I think there's close to 100 keywords. So without going and looking at a list and picking out the most powerful ones, I'd say maybe protection from everything. That's a pretty good one. I mean, especially if they're targeting it. Hexproof Shroud, whatever. You know, that's cool. Especially you could use Hexproof then Shroud. Now, the problem is it says today. Well, how are they going to prove it? I honestly think by today they mean like round, because like I said, how are they going to prove it? I mean, if the other person's listening in and you played them last game, okay, it's just, that's dumb. They should have said this round. So, I mean, double strike, lifelink, flying, triple strike, last strike. I can't think of anything that would be in direct response to the spell that would, like, counter it. I don't know. There's people typing out some weird crap in the comment section down below. I guarantee it. So if you got some good ideas for keywords to choose, feel free. Next up, ninja! Oh yes, because there were so many female ninjas in Japan. That's revisionist history, and it's shoving more females in our face, thinking that females will be so honored that they'll play the game. Okay, no, just stop with this crap. And yes, I know, there actually were quite a few female ninjas, but there were more males, so shut up. You may activate Ninja's Augment ability anytime you would cast an instant. Ooh, so basically they're cloning ninjutsu, obviously. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, then ta-da. So it's kind of nice. You could drop it in, surprise them. And it's Augment 3 and gives +1. So overall, not too bad. I mean, I think that combination of wide open triggers and the surprise ability makes it kind of playable, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Next up is Old Buzzbark, and you guys know I love X-Spells. So, Legendary Creature Goblin Warrior, love it already, 3/3, cool. When Old Buzzbark enters battlefield, roll X six-sided dice onto the battlefield from a height of at least X inches. That's interesting. Okay, most of my dice, you guys know, they kind of bounce. I mean, they're not those cheapy plastic ones, which actually those almost bounce more, but they're like solid quartz crystals. So not a lot of give there, so they might go off the table. Anyway, for each die, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the result on top of each creature you control that die is touching. Oh god. For each die, Old Buzzbark deals damage equal to the result of each creature an opponent controls that die is touching. Well, that's interesting. So let's say it's 5. Okay, so you grab 5 dice and drop them from at least 5 inches, which, I mean, come on, 5 inches. I have solid metal dice that really don't bounce a whole lot. So yeah, I mean 5 inches, like even like 3 inches, 1 inch, you might as well just set it on the damn card. Anyway, it does say roll though, so it's like it has to be random. You can't just drop it from 1 inch and have it not turn over at all. So this is, I don't know, this is just odd, but if a die, one of the 5 dice will say, lands on one of you, or a creature that you control, then they get that many counters. So might as well just leave the die there, basically. And then it deals damage to opponent's creatures that the die is touching. So can you roll them separately, or do they all have to be rolled together with one hand simultaneously? Nobody knows. The die rolling rules are not particularly, I don't know, like specific in Magic that I know of. It just has to be random and can't go off the table. I think that's like literally the only 2 rules I've ever heard. So should be hotly debated if people are playing this card. Considering this could single-handedly win the game by removing all of your opponent's creatures and boosting all of yours so that you can swing and win that turn, this is going to be hotly contested. I hope they make some kind of ruling about it. Next up, Old Fashioned Vampire, which I guarantee is an Adventure Time reference because I just watched that episode. Flying Old Fashioned Vampire gets +2/+2 and has Death Touch as long as it's dark outdoors. Fun fact, it's dark at about 4:30 here in Wisconsin, so it's going to be dark out when we're playing this, so that's fantastic. Once again, rules loitering. Dark outdoors where? Somewhere on planet Earth? Do you just name a place? I mean, can you count the dark side of the moon? Does it have to be on this planet? Anyway, assuming they rule it the way I think, it's a flying 5/5 for 5, so it's not bad, but during the day it's a lot worse. So, I don't know, I guess look outside when you draft it. If you get up and look out a window or something because you forgot what time it is, that's going to be a little telling. Next up, Over My Dead Bodies. I love this. It's a 6-cost enchantment in black. Rare, unfortunately, so good luck getting this. But creature cards in graveyards can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Nice. Can block or be blocked only by creature cards in graveyard. What? Wait, they lost me already. Creature cards in graveyards can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Can block or be blocked only by creature cards in graveyards. So basically they're unblockable. And they are zombies in addition to their other types and have undeath touch. What the actual heck is that? If they would deal damage to a creature card, exile that creature card instead. That's not, that's like super death. The undeath touch would bring it back to life or like gain your opponent. No, that would be reverse lifelink. I don't know. I already hate this card. Creature cards in your graveyard have haste. Wonderful. Good for you. So the way I'm reading this, which is almost definitely incorrect, it says creature cards in graveyards. Oh, in both graveyards. Okay. That makes way more sense. Can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Because I was going to say, you could just swing with everything and they literally can't block unless they're playing this card. But no, that's not it. So, okay. So both players can have creature cards in graveyards attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. But the ones that came from... Wait, no, is that what they're saying? I'm just going to pause the recording and work this out. Okay. Only the creature cards in the graveyard have undeath touch, and they all have it, which means this card is stupid and it's dead even and gives you no advantage whatsoever. So, good job. Yeah, I mean, just you guys get what it does. I'm not gonna explain it. It's just you can fight with crap until it gets killed another time that it gets exiled, as long as it was killed by something that was in the graveyard. And if a normal creature got blocked by it, it gets exiled as well, I think. Next up, Proper Laboratory Attire, only costs 1, and ooh, it's equipment. Fantastic, I knew that was coming. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has protection from die rolls. Fantastic. Nothing that lets a player roll a die can block, target, deal damage to, or attach to equipped creature. Nice. So that's maybe not how I would phrase it, but I get what they're going for. That's, kind of narrow, but I mean, if you're playing against red, yeah, this will come in pretty handy. I would, at the very least, if I drafted it, it wouldn't be my first pick though, put it in the sideboard. But I will say, if you have enough creatures, definitely put it in your deck, because it's +2 attack for 1 equip too. I mean, equipment is still good, even if you don't need protection from die rolls. I mean, moving around 2 extra damage, that's no joke. Next up, we got some kind of frog rabbit on Quick Stick Lick Trick. Fun. Whenever you crank Quick Stick Lick Trick, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink until end of turn. That is very powerful. I don't know what it has to do with any of the artwork or the name, but I like it. Next up, making fun of one of the greatest pieces of artwork in all of MTG history. I don't remember the real name of the card. Everybody just calls it Bear Punch. We've got the same bear, it appears to be, getting his revenge and punching back, and that's amazing. So, really epic punch, only costs 2, it's a sorcery. It says target creature you control gets +2/+2 if it's a host or has augment, fantastic. Then it fights target creature you don't control. So if I'm running an augment deck, auto include. This is removal plus you can swing. Extra damage boost. Not an ambush, it's not instant, but oh my gosh, is this good. Next up, it's another awesome borderless contraption. It's the Refibrillator, which is probably what you want to use after the defib. So whenever you crank Refibrillator, I could never pronounce that correctly, return target creature from your graveyard to hand. So, this going off passively once every 3 turns is kind of nice. Would it be better to drop it on the battlefield? Yeah, but would it be horribly unfair? Yeah. So yeah, you got to pay the mana cost for it again, but it's still pretty good. I mean, this wouldn't be particularly great in a host deck. Depends how many augments you have in there, but that whole ratio, it's like trying to get spells to meet up with heroic. It just doesn't work mathematically. Other than that, I would put this in just about anything because it'll just keep your deck going and let you play around control. So don't underestimate this card, especially it's a rare. Next up, we got some pretty funny artwork considering what the card does. It's called Sacrifice Play. It's an instant. A player outside the game chooses an attacking or blocking creature that target opponent controls. So on either turn during combat, that player sacrifices that creature. So they're still going to lose something. I mean, you might as well just let your opponent choose. Well, unless you go get your friend, then they'll choose the biggest, baddest creature. But if it's just some random person and they don't like you, they like the other person better, then they're going to choose the smallest creature, which is what your opponent would do anyway. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know where the heck these extra people are going to come from. I mean, is it going to be the staff at the store? Probably. People who finish before you? Probably. But all the games go on simultaneously for usually at least 5 to 10 minutes, so this is going to be a little bit rough. Anyway, I still like it. It's pretty interesting. I'd put it in my deck. Next up, we got another augment. This one is Serpentine. Oh, I want a Serpentine cat. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, ta-da, yay, land falls back. I missed it already, so that's awesome. Also, +3/+3, and it's only augment 3. This is the most powerful, best augment in the game, by far. Nothing even comes close that I've seen so far. Next up, this must be some kind of joke that I'm not in on. Target Minotaur. All right. And it's a Minotaur warrior for 2. It's a 2/1 and it has prowess. I don't get it. I mean, I know Minotaurs were one of the most hated decks in like the M13 Gatecrash Return to Ravnica kind of era. I know personally I hated it. It almost made me quit the game several weeks after I started playing it. That's how bad and degenerate that garbage deck was. But I don't think this is referencing that necessarily. It's probably some famous Pro Tour occurrence. I don't know, whatever. Somebody already explained it down in the comment section. So if you're interested, check down there. Next up, we've got very cryptic command. I just opened a whole bunch of cryptic commands from Iconic, so this is twice as funny to me. It is still triple blue and then 1. Actually, I think cryptic might be 5. I don't remember. But yeah, choose 2, so 2 modes. Untap 2 target permanents. Tap each permanent target player controls with exactly 1 word in its name, so that's not much. Discard all cards in your hand, then draw that many cards, so a little Wheel of Fortune there. Or you may return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So, really, only one of them is comically useless. But yeah, it's very cryptic, I'll give it that. It's also definitely a command card, 2 modes. Well, the fact that you can untap 2 target permanents, commonly creatures, but not necessarily, and it's an instant, means you could ambush somebody, and this is sort of a removal spell then. So remember, removal is very powerful and sealed, so run this card if you can. And if you're running mono blue, because I mean, triple blue ain't no joke. And finally, we've got Willing Test Subject. Oh boy, it's the spider monkey with the lemur tail. That might just be a monkey tail. It just looks like a lemur tail to me. So this is a 2/2 for 3 in green. Pretty nice. The spider monkey scientist. Awesome. And she has reach, because apparently the tail, I don't know, most spiders have reach. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher on a die, put a 1/1 counter on Willing Test Subject, like permanently. So that's awesome. It's not just an end to turn boost. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, if I'm not playing red, what's the point? Because then I won't really roll dice. Well, pay 6, roll a 6-sided die. Ta-da! Who the heck has 6 money? 6 mana to just throw away? Not me. And plus, you have to roll a 4 or higher, so that's only about 50-50 odds. So that's not a very good use of 6 mana, but I don't know, if this gets out of control art, you could win with it, but it would be a heck of a lightning rod if it gets even 2 counters on it. So in a Christmas color deck, yeah, you'd be doing good. Otherwise, I don't think this is very good by itself, but I mean, whatever. So that's it for now. Things are getting pretty nuts. I like it, and can't wait to draft it, as usual. I think I've said that after every single video. And go watch the movie The Burbs, 1989 Tom Hanks, best movie ever made. That movie might as well have been filmed in my old neighborhood. Like that, it's basically a documentary / autobiography of where I used to live. I'll see you guys next video.